Well, I think that if you listen to to some of what is being said, you have a lot of people who don't have a lot of experience in analyzing what the Olympics, what an Olympic performance looks like, and what a good performance is, what a bad performance is. Should we have had more medals? No doubt. I think we probably threw away a medal in being disqualified from that men's 4x4. But I think you have a lot of things that you can look at and say, so very good performances as well. I think we had 7 to 9 Olympic finalists. That's a new record. We had more female finalists than ever. We had our highest finish ever in the Olympic Games on the women's side when the women in the 4x1 took 5th. My concern since the Olympics, the more I look at it, the more I analyze it, the more I dig into the numbers, is that the way that we prepare our teams, particularly our relay teams, has to change. Because I think you look at a country like Japan, you look at a country like Great Britain on the women's side, and they're just outworking us. They are out planning us, they are out preparing us, and I have been very adamant and very vocal about the fact that this cannot continue. The other thing is that I am concerned that our junior results are getting worse and worse and worse. We're coming off of one of our worst Carifta Games performances. Our World Youth results have not been good of late. Our World Junior results have not been particularly good of late. So my concern is not so much about, there's nothing you can do about the results that have already happened. My concern is, okay, so the planning for Tokyo 2020 starts right now. Not 3 years from now, not 2 years from now, not 2 months from now. Immediately. What are we doing to make sure that some of the things that we left on the table don't happen?
You're saying that we need to start a plan now.
Mm-hmm.
You as a coach, you have your own ideas, your own concepts of how to start that planning in terms of your athletes that will be performing at Tokyo 2020.
Yes.
Is Ato Boldon considering getting involved in, the administration to ensure that those concepts and those plans can get our athletes to podium finishes?
I think sometimes that gets that gets misconstrued because people go, oh, Ato looking for a walk. No, not at all. If somebody comes up with a great plan and they say, here is where we think you can help, I am more than happy to do that. If somebody says, look, we've come up with this great plan and there's no room for you, that's fine too. I have enough to do. So to answer your question, there are certain things that have to be changed, and whether or not I am included that's not really the point. The point is that, you see, it's not so much even the athletes that you would know or I would know by name right now. I made the example of Wade van Niekerk, who is now the Olympic champion in the 400 from South Africa, and now the world record holder in the 400. 3 or 4 years ago, nobody knew who he was. But somebody in South Africa was developing him. He was in a program where we, the public, didn't know it yet. But when he showed up in the World Championships last year, he became world champion. When he showed up at the Olympic Games this year, he became not only Olympic champion, but also world record holder. I don't see that happening here. It's like every 4 years we go, well, this one has been doing okay, and that one's, but there is no program, there's no real plan. And it's one thing you could say, well, okay, we have a lot of our athletes who are foreign based, and that's one thing, they certainly have their camps. But what are we doing about those relays? We put 3 teams, potentially we could have put 3 teams into those Olympic finals. We put 3 teams on that stage, 2 of them got disqualified. That's unacceptable because we have a very good history in the relays.
Have you made any suggestions yourself, like taking the mantle and say, okay, well, let me go forth first and tell these administrators, these are the things that need to be done, these are the ideas that I have, I can work with you?
Last year, for the first time officially, I was included as part of the coaching staff, right? And I ended up taking the role of being involved with the women's 4x1. Our women have never won a world championship or Olympic relay medal of any kind. We still haven't won an Olympic medal of any kind on the women's side. And that team got together. It wasn't ideal preparation. We were at the World Championships, but we got together. The chemistry was there, and they got a bronze medal for the very first time. And because of how my brain works, I didn't come back and say, well, greatest thing ever, let's sit on our laurels. I actually came down to Trinidad, I want to say November of last year. And I sat down with people who I thought could help. And I said, what we need is we need to have this plan, and I came up with this thing called the Relay Road to Rio. And I was assured that, hey, we would put together this proposal. Mind you, I had already found the funding. So I came with the plan, with the funding, make the proposal, the people with the funding will fund the thing, and we will go forward. I went back home to go and get ready my charges, and the usual, it didn't happen for one reason or another. And were some of the things that I tried to put in place to sort of salvage it, a lot of empty promises. So we went into the Olympic year with not only not a plan, but we didn't really do the preparation necessary. And I know people are probably saying, well, you know, Ato is always saying the same thing. Yes, until I see a change, I will continue to say it, because we cannot continue to go to the Olympic Games against the best prepared teams in the world, and we have no preparation.
You recently mentioned that Richard Thompson has parted ways with you. Can you shed some light on the specifics of it?
Well, Richard and I decided around this time last year that we were going to work together. And he had a very up and down season. He came back here, he ran a 9.7, and he won the Olympic trials. But his Olympic performance was not, and his Diamond League performances were not what he and I would have wanted for him. I think after the end of every season, both coach and athlete in everything have to sit down and say, did we get what we wanted from each other? And Richard and I had a conversation, and we decided that we did not get what we wanted from each other. He and I have been friends for a long time. He and I went to the same primary school. I have been a mentor of his for a long time. And what I got from him in the conversation was that he felt like he needed to make a change. He's leaving South Florida. He's probably going to be moving. So it wasn't an acrimonious parting. It was one of those partings where you say, you know what, Richard, you and I will be friends for a lot longer than we will be coach and athlete. So if you feel like this is the move you need to make, then you need to make it.
Khalifa Sinfort, one of the rising stars for Transbigo. I certainly see her as a medal in Tokyo 2020. You know, God spare life, and all things worked in her favor. But Ato, in terms of getting, have you seen any other local athlete that you think can be podium at 2020?
I see lots of local athletes when I come down here, because I am involved in Khalifa's career and I've been sort of here for all the junior meets. I see lots of junior athletes who I think are capable, but a lot of them have their bad habits. Some of them are complacent. They're happy being national junior champion, or they're happy being whatever it is they are, at whatever level they've won. And some of them are not being coached properly, and that's a source of concern. But I am also making sort of an outreach program where I am going to have 2 or 3 new Trinidad parented kids who are going to be coming to me in the off season. So I am doing my part. I just want everybody to sort of step their game up as well.